Hi, how's it going? Today I am going to talk all about the referendum that's coming up here in Ireland in 5 days' time and why it's so important that we repeal the Eighth Amendment and vote yes in this referendum. Now, I know this is kind of unusual for me to talk about political things on my vlog, but it is so important. It is such a huge issue and it affects every pregnancy in Ireland. So my vlog is about pregnancy, birth, supporting mothers, empowering mothers. This is such an important topic for mothers. We are being asked to vote whether we want to keep or get rid of the Eighth Amendment of our Constitution. The Eighth Amendment basically says that the rights of the unborn are equal to the rights of the mother. And for this reason, abortion is illegal in Ireland, and there are many other aspects of maternity care that are affected by the Eighth Amendment, not only abortion. It is, however, legal to travel abroad to seek an abortion. At the moment, we have no choice. The only choice we might have is that if you have the means, you can go and travel and get an abortion or get illegal pills online and risk danger to your life and also being made a criminal because of it. You'd get 14 years in prison. The national consent policy states that during pregnancy, a doctor can override somebody's consent. In fact, it doesn't need to be sought in all cases. And you can even be taken to the High Court if you refuse a medical procedure during pregnancy or birth. It's been a really divisive topic in Ireland because it cuts deep into people's beliefs and people's experiences. I'm just going to share a little bit about my journey as to why I now am pro-choice and will be voting yes in the referendum. I am born and bred in Ireland and went to public schools which are all Catholic, and I suppose my upbringing kind of helped to shape my beliefs when I was younger. And I believed that abortion was wrong. The biggest change in my views was when my first baby was about 6 months old. I first heard about the case of Savita Halapanavar, who was an Indian woman living in Galway who presented at a maternity hospital in Galway at 17 weeks pregnant. Basically what happened was she requested an abortion because she knew things weren't right. And she was denied that because there was a fetal heartbeat. She got sepsis and she died several days later. The fact is that she would be here today if the Eighth Amendment wasn't in place. She would have requested the abortion and got it, and she would be alive. Yes, that really impacted me. I had a very small child. I realized how lucky I had been in my pregnancy, that I was healthy, that my baby was healthy, that I didn't have any need to attend maternity services for something similar to Savita. And I guess that's when I really realized that's just a crazy amendment of the Constitution that happened when I was like a really young child. It was in 1983 that this amendment came into effect. The last year or so I've been really researching, and I've started to read about different people that this amendment has affected. Not only people who have sought abortions, but people who have been denied medical care in Ireland because of the Eighth Amendment, and who have been just treated abominably because of it as well. In particular, there's a series called In Her Shoes, and it is a platform for women who would like to submit their stories anonymously or with their names if they want. But it has really opened up my eyes to the amount of varied situations that exist that the Eighth Amendment affects, and the amount of harrowing, just tragic and really upsetting situations that people have been in. Young women, girls who have gone through just absolutely horrific ordeals because of the Eighth Amendment, be that rape, be that incest, be that fetal abnormalities, be that people who are just not ready to be parents. when a woman is in a situation in an abusive relationship and they become pregnant, and they know that pregnancy will force them to be with that person or have links to that abusive partner for the rest of their lives. That, I think, is just, it's just so traumatic, and must be, I can't imagine how that must be. And I just feel like these are the people who matter. I mean, our sisters, our daughters, our nieces, our friends, and these are the people who the Eighth Amendment has really affected, like, barbarically. What we're going to be voting on, I think, is really fair. It's going to be unrestricted abortion up to 12 weeks. Some people might have issues with that. I don't think it's my duty to tell somebody else what to do in their circumstances, because I don't know what it's like to be in their circumstances. I don't have any idea what it's like, and we need to have access to safe, legal support and medical care when it's necessary, and it's part of the maternity services. It is healthcare for women and pregnant people. I think it's really affecting me because I'm pregnant at the moment. I know what it's like to be pregnant in Ireland in 2018. You don't have autonomy over your own body. You don't have consent over many things that will affect you during your pregnancy. There is a national consent policy, and during pregnancy, your rights are hugely diminished. I just think that we need to just trust that people will make the best decisions for themselves, and that with the proper care and support of their doctors and of counsellors and of people who are willing to support them and give them non-biased information and non-judgmental support, then that is the best that can be done in often really tragic circumstances. I think that because we have the right to travel to other countries to have abortions, is discriminatory against people who don't have the money or the means to get to another country. Let's say someone who's in direct provision. How do they get across to England or Holland or wherever they might need to avail of medical care for abortion? We need to trust that each person can make their own decision. It might not be what I choose, but frankly, I will choose what's best for me, and you will choose what's best for you. I definitely feel that because I have 2 healthy children and I'm pregnant on my 3rd baby, I'm very lucky. I've had no complications. I've had no need to avail of abortion services anywhere. But that privilege of mine does not mean that I get to choose what someone else needs to do. As someone who supports women on their journeys to becoming mothers, I definitely think that choice is really important. Choice when it comes to birth options, choice when it comes to whether you want to be a parent or not, choice as to how to feed your baby, how to educate your baby, what ways you're going to access healthcare for your baby. You know, there are so many different aspects to parenting. Part of me feels like it's so simple, that yet it's so complicated. It's simple because it just needs to be repealed so that everyone can choose for themselves. It's complicated because there are so many different variations and different stories and different situations where the Eighth Amendment impacts people's lives. And it has impacted so many people's lives detrimentally. Like, I can't even just imagine what it must be like for someone who has gone through something harrowing and now it's being debated like on the airwaves. And I just think, jeepers, like, you know, let's have some compassion for those people. Let's support them and, you know, tell them that there's no shame. I can't imagine being given a diagnosis of a fatal fetal abnormality and then the trauma of that in itself, and then on top of that having to work out the logistics of flying to a different country, the cost, the accommodation, the logistics of getting your baby back home in a coffin. Like, how fucked up is that our country can't even help people like that? Like, that is just ludicrous, you know. Like, it is so discriminatory and so controlling of women. And I think that's what it boils down to, is control. Because for me, there are two extremes in this. There is, on one side, you have forced birth, which is what we have at the moment if you get pregnant and you don't have the means to travel abroad. And then the other side, you have forced abortion, which is not right either. You know, people need to have a choice, and that's the middle ground, and that's why I'm voting yes. So if you're on the fence, please take a moment to read some stories from In Her Shoes, because these are the people who the Eighth Amendment has affected. People will continue to be affected by it if we don't change this. I am not going to allow my privilege of having healthy babies and healthy pregnancies to affect somebody else's choice because I don't walk in her shoes. I just want to say a huge thank you to those of you who've been out canvassing and leafleting and working on stalls in an effort to educate people as to why it's important to vote yes to repeal the Eighth Amendment. I personally have just not felt strong enough emotionally being pregnant and to be able to do that. But I have a tiny platform here on YouTube. So this is what I'm doing, and it feels good to have a voice of some sort. And if it can help even one person make up their mind, then that's great. And it's an important topic. We need to be speaking about it. And thank you so much for listening if you've gotten this far. Take care. Bye bye.